What up, it's your boy Roy Jones Jr. I'm hanging out with my man, Andre Ward. We two Hall of Famers will bring y'all a new show called The Hall of Game.
A show where we discuss boxing, sports, life, and entertainment from our view.
How much better than that can you get?
Me and Roy don't always agree, but one thing you will get is a Hall of Fame worth the game.
Top of the morning, Roy Rogers.
There it is.
How you doing, my brother? What you got going on the farm on the 80 acres, brother? What's going on this morning?
Yeah, I'm good, Dre. I'm taking it easy. Everything is going copacetic around here, Not really much happening. Getting called some crazy names, but, that's just by the other people that live here. So that's really about it,
That's going to happen. Before we came on, we were talking about, I said, man, I gotta give me some land.
Yep.
I know you got you on the 80 acres and I'm in a subdivision where I live and I'm still dealing with HOA. I can't work on my car if I want to. I gotta send a letter and get permission to do whatever I want to do, Roy.
Listen, when I had the basketball,
you ain't gotta worry about that though.
Not here, but this is where this is what I went through, Dre. I went through where you are right now. When I was at the crib with the basketball court, I moved some woods back some because there was too many water moccasins showing up. The HOA got mad at me, said I had to plant every tree back and said it was a snake habitat. Now, the snakes are what going to bite and kill your kids. Right. They told me, no. Yeah. You got to leave, put that back just like it was because the snakes have a habitat there and we're trying to protect the snakes who are also trying to kill my kids. So it's time to go.
Right.
I came back out here to the 88 acres. Ain't got to worry about none of the HOA stuff. I am
now
HOA.
You the HOA.
You better
I
believe
am
it.
The HOA.
You better believe it.
Yes, sir. I'm still working on it. Today, we're going to talk about something, man. It's something that you have participated in. It's something that I'm rumored from time to time to be a participant in, but hasn't happened yet. And it's something that I think if it's the wrong fight or matchup, it seems to get under your skin. I start seeing you get agitated, start seeing your eye twitching a little bit, and you start getting a little antsy in the chair. And that's the topic of exhibitions, boxing exhibition. So today on Hall of Game, this is going to be the exhibition edition. We're going to talk all things boxing exhibitions or exhibition matchups, if it's, some crossover going on. But I want the fans to understand something because sometimes these phenomenons come back around or they start to get very popular again, but people got to realize these exhibitions have been going on for a very long time. Yep. I'm going to just go back to former heavyweight champion John L. Sullivan. John L. Sullivan, he toured, he fought at local towns and small groups to build morale, give people an opportunity that otherwise wouldn't be able to go to a boxing match or a championship boxing match. It's a way for fighters to supplement their income back then and to also just continue to build their name and their fan base. You look at the great Joe Louis. Joe Louis, he was enlisted in the military and he would go and fight to build morale and to get money for the U.S. war interest. One of the greatest fighters, arguably of all time, depending on where you land on that scale, Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson toured to supplement his income, to showcase his skill set. The great Muhammad Ali did it. He did a crossover exhibition in Japan with a wrestler. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But he also did boxing exhibitions. And I can go down the list of great champions that did this for various reasons. But now in the 21st century, it's a lot of talk about these boxing exhibitions or just exhibitions in general. And I got to get your take at the top of this conversation because it seems like there's some exhibitions that you are okay with, but then it seems like it's some exhibitions that you're not okay with. And I just need to understand the logic behind it because last time I checked, Roy, you've done 4 exhibitions and your biggest exhibition came against Iron Mike Tyson. Y'all did big number, crazy numbers, 1.6 million, 80 million in revenue. And for me, it's about nostalgia. It's about entertainment. And for y'all being great fighters and, getting older, I still want to see the competition at this age. So most of these exhibitions, I don't have a problem with. But Roy, you did them. I think if they call you with the right number now and the right opponent that gets you interested, you might still do it. Why are you feeling the type of way about some of these exhibitions?
Which one am I feeling the type of way about?
You know which one I'm talking about. Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, I didn't say I feel a certain way about it. I just said it just don't interest me. It's two guys that are so far apart in weight that it really is not interesting to me, because do I think Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather would have been a great fight in their primes? No. So it don't interest me like that. You understand me? Now,
Right.
if I thought it would have been a great fight in their primes and they're both older, yeah, I want to see how they still do it in older age, just because I like to see what would happen. But these two guys were never even close to being a fight in their prime. So what's it going to be now? How is that going to work out? You feel I'm coming from? He's not going to make heavyweight. He's never been a heavyweight. And he's going to be above 200 pounds. So how's that going to be even a fight to look at unless he don't fight? You understand me? So it's like, for me, that don't really interest me, because I can't see the mythological idea of them really being in the ring. People could see the mythological idea of myself and Mike Tyson fighting, because after I won the heavyweight title, I told them people plain and clear, the only person that I would stay at heavyweight for is Mike Tyson. If Mike Tyson doesn't want to fight me right now while I'm at heavyweight, then I'll go back down and recapture the light heavyweight title like I thought Bob Fitzsimmons did. You understand me? So it's not like I have a problem with exhibitions. It's just that it has to be something that I can fathom in my mind. Wow, that would have been a great exhibition to see. Like right now, if somebody said, hey, how would you like to see an exhibition between Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford at 175? Exhibition, that's a beautiful exhibition. That's two great guys in the ring together. You're going to see, even though Andre is beyond his prime, you still going to see some great things about how they think. You're not going to get the fireworks you would have gotten in Andre's prime, but you're going to see a lot of how that would have worked out mentally, because Andre going to work some of that out mentally. You feel me? So it's like, I'm interested in exhibitions that make sense. Now, to Tank's credit, I'm interested in the Tank Jake Paul exhibition, because I know for a fact that if they do it for real, Tank is capable, although he's small, he's capable of knocking Jake Paul out, just like Jake Paul probably capable of knocking him out, because he's so much bigger.
So you believe that?
I believe
no
that
doubt about it.
Without a question, if they fight for real. If they don't, if they say, no, well, we're going to take care of Jake, just want him to go through and learn more, then he might not knock him out. You understand me? But if they do it for real, Tank is highly capable of taking Jake Paul out. So the exhibitions that I like to see are ones that either I can mythically look at and say, wow, well, if he would have did that back when he was 10 years younger, or 8 years or 12 years ago, he would have beat him. You understand me? Because we know boxing. We can see what the landscape looks like without even seeing it. You understand me? So an exhibition amongst two people that are that or were that, or one that is that and one that was that tells people that know the game, that tells us a lot. Exhibition between people who are way apart, it's not going to tell us nothing, because both of y'all are high-level boxers, but y'all are so far apart that was something no one ever fathomed. And to be honest, I ain't going to go that far, because you're going to get mad at me again, so I'm just going to keep it at that.
What up, Fight Fam? It's your boy Ak, and we have a massive fight coming your way. You know we had to team up with the squad at DraftKings. Barack, I'm talking about Tank versus Jake Paul.
Is that the fight that everybody wanted to see? No, but it's going to wind up being a big fight, and I know when it started.
People want to see Jake, people want to see Tank, so essentially it's a fight that people want to see, they just won't admit it.
I believe this started because someone in the camp of Paul said, don't mess with Tank, because he'll knock you out.
The fight is an exhibition.
Exhibition means nothing. I seen Sugar Ray Leonard knock somebody out to the body in an exhibition. This is going to be one of those fights that you can't miss. Matter of fact, all fights are like that. So don't forget to check out all that DraftKings has to offer and use our promo code ATSFights. The crown is yours.
Check out all that DraftKings has to offer via the app or the website. Join in on the fun right now while you're still standing there. Download the DraftKings app right now.
New customers, I got something special just for you guys. Use our promo code ATSFights. Level up your fight night experience.
I'm going to go back to your exhibition with Mike, and then we're going to double back to Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. So Mike is 54, you were 51 at that time. And I do understand what you're saying. That makes sense to me on your takes on the exhibition. That makes sense to me. how did that exhibition come about? Because everybody's minding their own business in their 50s, and all of a sudden the phone rings. So how did that exhibition come about with y'all?
They called me. They said Mike wants to do an exhibition, but he needs a dance partner. Would you dance with him? I wanted to fight him when I won the heavyweight title anyway. So quite naturally, yeah, I want to see what that's like. I want to see what it was like back then. Like I just told you, a lot of times exhibitions gives us an insight of what could have happened back if they were in the same time or had they fought in their primes. So I want to see that insight. When they called me, I was more happy that he wanted to give me the chance to get in the ring and look at him for real than I was about to fight. You understand me? I wanted to be there and see what that would have been like. Because like I said, after I won the heavyweight title, I made it plain and clear that the only person that I would stay at heavyweight for was Mike Tyson.
Mike, right. Well, but how does that work though? At that age and for an exhibition, if I'm not mistaken, y'all fought 2-minute rounds?
Yep.
Or did y'all fight
2-minute rounds?
10 2-minute rounds, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How's the training different for something like that? How do you turn on for something like that?
Well, you turn on because, first of all, they said, listen, because y'all both are older, if we see y'all trying to tear each other's head off, we're going to stop it. So that was cool.
They said that?
They said that. So that was cool to hear that. But Mike don't know how to play. Mike like a pit bulldog.
I didn't see nobody not trying to tear nobody's head off. I seen
Mike don't know how to play.
Some shots just I didn't see that getting played out.
I told him Mike don't know how to play. I heard what they were saying, but Mike don't know how to play. So I got up on bad knees and still ran 3 miles every morning because I knew that my knees and legs need to be in shape enough to get away from this dude because he ain't finna go out there listening to what they say. You understand me? First time he hit me in my chest, it felt like a mule had kicked me in the chest. I said, oh my God, this dude can punch. Okay.
Yeah.
But I expected that he could punch, but I didn't know that he still had that kind of power at 54 years old. So
what round was that?
That was the first round. Very first round. I said, okay. Then I think by the second or third round, I hit him with a hook. And he was like, okay, good shot, because he knew, you kept coming. Then about the fourth or the fifth round, he took the laces and laced me in the face. Dude, nobody sees this kind of stuff because the ref don't know what he's looking at for real because it was supposed to be an exhibition. But this dude really
he did it on purpose?
Yes. This I told you, this Mike don't know how to play.
Man.
You understand me? So I was
Mike said, come here, Mike.
Yeah. It blew my mind. But yeah, it was fun.
But did you get ready though?
Yeah, of course.
Did you leave home for that or did you stay home for that?
I went to California, PA and got ready for real. This Mike Tyson we talking about. We're not talking about somebody, like I said. They say what they want to say. This dude is Mike Tyson. You understand me? So, and I'm not saying don't do this, don't do that. No, I want to see how it's going to be anyway. So I want to get ready so I can really a mind too and see how it's going to be. You understand where I'm coming from? So can I get my ready set off?
Man, I like, for me, again, I said this couple weeks ago on a show. I said, man, it's not too many boxing purists that are more purists than me. Like, I really understand the game. I appreciate the game. But most of these exhibitions, I don't have a problem with. Like, to your point about a matchup that didn't happen, then I can reimagine, okay, I know they older, but I want to see what happened. I want to see what type of shape Roy come in at 51. I want to see what type of shape Mike can get in at 54. And it ain't never a bad idea to make some money at that stage in your life and your career. I just feel like if guys and gave you 30, 40, 50, 60 real fights, like if there's a matchup that we can have that can spark the interest of the people and we can do numbers, even if it's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. You can't tell me, even if it's Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Mike Tyson and the majority of them, Jake brought what he brought to the dance, but Mike brought what he brought. That's Mike Tyson. That's Iron Mike Tyson. And Mike was a genius with them 30-second clips they was putting out leading up to that fight, boy. Mike had you thinking he was back, and he was back to a point, but that age won't let you sustain that, that intensity and that ferocity that you showing. But if you can do that at a certain age, let guys get their money. They've already given you the show 40, 50, 60 times out. If I can get something that can spark the public's interest, why not? I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with it. Like I said, my only problem, the reason I say I'm really not interested is because, like I said, they would have never fought in their day. So I didn't want to see that because
Talking about Mayweather Tyson.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm not interested because they never would have fought in their day. It just would not have happened. So it's like that's the only reason I say I'm not really intrigued about that one. If it's a boxer and a person that don't box, and like Tank and Jake Paul, for instance, and they got such a big weight gap, now that makes it kind of even on the exhibition scale. You feel me? So now we want to see
one got experience and one got weight and size.
You feel me? So now it makes us want to see what's going to happen with this. He's bigger, but he has experience. That makes for a good exhibition because everybody wants to know what's going to happen. You understand me? But when it's like even, he great, but he older, but he way bigger. He great, but he younger, but he way smaller. It's kind of like, is he really going to come in and try to kill him? And if he did do that, what would people think about him? You understand where I'm coming from? So it's like, for me, it's a no-win for Mike. Because if you come out of smash Floyd, people going to say, why would you do that to him? You know you're a heavyweight. He ain't never been no heavyweight. You feel me? If Floyd comes out and outbox Mike, okay, they would live with that, but Mike can't win. If he wins, he's not going to be good. If he loses, he's not going to be good. So it's no win for Mike. So it's like, for me.
But Mike is going to win, though.
I understand, but I'm looking, he is going to win that. But what I'm saying, for me, the money he'll win, yes, but outside of that, everything else is a loss. And like they say to me,
I don't think he cares though at this point.
He probably don't, but all money ain't good money. But he probably don't care. And it's cool.
I really don't think if Mike can survive all the stuff that was said about him leading up to the Jake Paul fight,
and
after.
Mm-hmm.
After was way worse.
Mm-hmm.
Because Mike,
the
marketing
wait. So do you want to go through that again?
Yeah. Who?
Mike. Does Mike want to go through that again? If he don't care,
going through it.
If he don't care, it's cool. So
he going through it right now.
Okay, well then it's cool.
You saw the reaction with the Floyd Mayweather announcement, and they ain't even fully announced it. They just put the artwork out.
So you set yourself up to go through that same thing again. Is the money really worth it?
I don't think he cares.
Okay, if you don't care, it's cool. If you don't care, it's cool.
I don't think Mike is a business man.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I think.
Okay. And so if he's a businessman, he's gonna win at the bank, but he's gonna lose in the ring. That's quite obvious. If you're a businessman. So now you just
don't think he can.
So now I'm saying, but now you gave me the outcome, which is what we can't expect anyway. So why I'm gonna pay to watch that?
Yeah, maybe it's the little kid in me, the boxing fan.
Yeah.
Like I know Floyd is older.
Yeah,
I know Mike is older.
Yeah,
but I want to see what happened. I want to see how this thing play out.
Okay,
that's me. So even when I look at Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul.
Mm-hmm.
The size differential is enough where Jake Paul is good enough where people say, oh, he's terrible. Jake Paul is not a world-class fighter. I don't care how a person feel about that. Fighters that started in their formative years, like we did, 8, 9, 10, we got too much time in. Jake will never catch up to that. Nope. He'll never catch up to that. We just got too much time in.
Yep.
But I've always tipped the hat to him because he is in the gym with a real boxing team. I know the BJ Flores, J. Leon Love, and a few others. He got in there, and he's got real fighters in there. He's getting the black eyes. He's getting the marks. He's trying to become better, and he's respectable enough where if you foolish, you can get knocked out. You can get hurt with that right hand. I don't know if he's going to land that with Gervonta Davis, but the size difference is enough where if he does land, he can hurt Gervonta. But Gervonta has been fighting bigger guys and sparring bigger guys his whole life. That's what people don't understand. They keep talking about weight classes are there for a reason. That's true. But some guys, and I said this about Crawford, some guys been beating up on big dudes for a long time. They've been sparring light heavies and heavies for a long time. This ain't nothing new. Now it's different, right? In a real situation like this, they do have y'all keep me honest on this. I think they went up on the gloves. The size of the gloves are bigger than they normally would be. But on the Gervonta piece, man, Gervonta, he went life and death with Lamont Roach in his last fight. A lot of people thought that Lamont Roach was going to get knocked out as soon as he got touched, right? Lamont Roach was telling people before the fight, I know him. Like we came up together. I know him. This isn't going to be what you think it's going to be. And Lamont Roach did his thing. It's controversy about the knee that Gervonta Davis took where the referee did not call. He started to count, but he did not count that. That could have been and should have been the difference in that fight because he did take a voluntary knee. There was a lot of talk about the rematch. What was reported initially was rematch first, because Gervonta has to get some get back in a sense and restore his reputation, even his fans. Hey, bruh, we got to do better on this next one. And I heard that the exhibition with Jake Paul was going to be in November. Lamont Roach business first, then November. Then all of a sudden you start, the Lamont Roach situation wasn't a thing anymore, and it was just Jake Paul. And I don't know if it's because the Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul situation fell out. Jake doubled back and was like, nah, I need a dance partner. We got to get this now or it's not going to be available. Here's my take. Here's my take on Davis. I don't remember the last time that I've heard Gervonta Davis say, I'm in boxing to be the greatest fighter of all time. I can't remember. I've heard him say that he's better than certain guys in his weight class, or this kid can't beat me. I've heard that. I can't remember, and maybe y'all can keep me honest online. The last time I've heard Gervonta Davis talk about his legacy in the ring, like I'm building my legacy. I'm trying to outdo Floyd in legacy. Like, I think it started like that for him. But the influence of Floyd Mayweather, Money Man, not Pretty Boy, but the Money Man, and building your brand and selling tickets and selling pay-per-views and becoming a household name, that's also a legacy. You got the legacy in the ring and you got the legacy in terms of how you sold. I believe Gervonta Davis is more focused on selling tickets and making money and securing his future for himself and his family. He said it out of his own mouth. I ain't got nothing else to prove. Well, depends on what your goal is. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to be one of the greatest fighters of all time, it's still a whole lot to prove. My point is, Roy, I don't think should everybody hold this man to the standard that they hold him to and say, you not fighting nobody. Yeah, you making money, but you ain't really fought nobody. If he don't even care about that, that's not even something that he's really focused on. If his main focus is the money and his main focus is getting out of boxing without getting hurt and retiring on his own terms, shouldn't his fan base and other people get on board with that if that's not even his goal?
Yeah,
How can we hold him to something like that if he don't even hold himself to that?
they definitely should get on board with that. They definitely should, because, I mean, his mentor did basically the same thing, so why can't he do it? You know what I'm saying? He made more money than anybody. He was smarter than everybody. He didn't take too many stupid risks. That's what he did, and it worked for him, and people okay with that and accepting it, so why can't Tank do it? Tank can do the same thing the mentor did. That's what the mentor is for, to teach you how to do this thing the smart way and not get you hurt, not have to take no risks, not to take many chances. So if that's what you learn, if that's the easy way out, why not do that? But y'all gave him credit for it, so why y'all can't give him credit for it? He can do the same thing that this guy did. Everybody had their own mentors, their own pound for pounds, their own people they want to be like. If he want to be like that guy that y'all say is great and was one of the best ever, why can't he do it? So I'm cool with whatever he say he want to do. In my old day, no, that wouldn't work for me because that's not how I worked, but that's not how I grew up. That's not how my mentors grew up. But he is dead, and that's what he saw, and it got him paid. So nowadays, most guys just want to get paid. They ain't really interested in all the legacy and the being the best at their weight division or being the best. They ain't interested in that no more. So with that interest being thrown to the wolves now, all this kind of stuff is cool, because if your fan base is cool with it, then it is. And if the fan base ain't cool with it, if he make 50 to 100 million fighting Jake Paul, they'll be cool with it because they cool with you making money. That's what the fan bases are on now. They happy with you just making money being good. Back in our day, they won't be cool with that. You had to prove you was the best. They thought you fought because you wanted to be the best of the division or the best of your era. They didn't think you fought for just money or just fame for being rich. Now you fighting for fame just to be rich. That's how the game has changed. There's been a drastic shift.
It's a shift, for
we
sure.
don't care about being the GOAT in our weight class. We don't care about being a GOAT 10 years down, 20 years down the line. We don't care about that no more. And that's what people don't understand when I say stuff. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Right now, I understand. I'm not on air, and I know why I'm not on air. If somebody come in and say, hey, we're going to get rid of all these belts, make one title and do this, that takes away the history of all the hard things you and I work for, right? Right? Mm-hmm. And we're not going to just sit there quietly and say, get rid of the IBF, get rid of the WBA, get rid of the WBC, get rid of the WBO. We're not going to go for that because that takes out all the stuff we work so hard and so diligently to do. Y'all trying to erase that. So y'all don't want to put me on the air because y'all know I'm not going to be for that. I'm going to argue against that, which is cool. I'm not mad about it. I'm cool with that because I am going to stand on my two when it comes to me talking about me being a world champ. I want to be like Muhammad Ali. You understand me? I'm not going to lie about it. I can't tell you nothing, no difference. I want to be the best in my division. As a matter of fact, I want to be the best around my division. Not just in my division, even around my division, I want to be the best. Today's fighters, they have been taught that that's not the way to do it nowadays. Nowadays, go for the bag. So everybody is going for the bag.
They're not only going for the bag, but when you talk too much about legacy, it's almost like the younger generation laughs at the older generation, like y'all some fools.
Of course.
Like y'all really fought him for that amount of money.
Of course.
You fought 4 of these guys back to back for this amount of money. It's almost like, oh, y'all got robbed. You tripping. And I'm gonna talk about the sanctioning bodies and all that stuff because I'm torn on that. You know, I understand what you're saying on one hand, but we done gave away a whole lot of tuition, mortgages, and a whole lot of other stuff to get a belt that ain't even real. So I understand what the belt means, and I understand how the sanctioning bodies work with the promoters, and the title and being a champion is built into your contract. If you become a champion within this 4 or 5 year period, I get to extend you another 2 years. Or if you become a champion within this 5 years, now your minimum amount of money, it goes up. So it's a whole discussion about the sanctioning bodies and their place in boxing and if they should be in there. But I want to stay on these exhibitions, and I really want to touch on the fan base thing that you just said right now, because I've never seen nothing like this in the sport of boxing. If you see responses from fans, they don't even argue who's better anymore. They're arguing who's the A side and who's not. Who's a draw and who y'all don't know a left hook from a fish hook. And you talking about who's the draw and who's the A side? Y'all just regurgitating information that you got from a podcaster or a YouTube channel or a writer that you like. You don't really know how this stuff works, most of the fans. But that's the point that I'm making. It's not about proving. When you say young fighters don't want to prove, and there's still a few out there. And I think the Terrence Crawfords of the world, I think he's one of the last of a dying breed, right? But with the rise of social and you being able to build your own platform, Roy, when you say prove, question is prove to who? Because if I can prove to my 500, 1 million, 2 million, 4 million followers, as long as they believe that I'm a GOAT and that I'm him and that I've done enough and everybody's ducking me, that's enough. That's the validation that helps cats sleep good at night.
Yeah.
The validation that yourself, myself, and other people was after was, number one, me. I got to feel comfortable living with me. I got to walk around and live with myself and be like, bruh, are you really him? Then it's my people, my coach, my goddaddy, my circle. I got to look my kids in the face and I want them to know that my daddy the best fighter in the world. Then it's the public. And really, it's not even the public because they wishy-washy too, Roy. For me, it's really the fraternity. See, the real answer is, what do your peers say about you? How do they feel about you? Because most of the time, unless there's some personal stuff going on, a fighter going to keep it 100. Yep. Fans can say what they want to say. You didn't fight nobody. A fighter will come in and say, you tripping. He fought this guy, that guy, this guy, this guy. So it's just, brother, the validation is from the fan base. The validation is from your followers. As long as they feel like you the guy, that's enough. So we're not even on an even playing field right now when we start talking about proving something to somebody, because the proving is social, YouTube, my platform is not the world anymore.
Right. So
it's not even your peers anymore.
Right. So for me, because I'm older than you, I must go again. I always have to tell you this every podcast. I don't know why, but I always have to remind you that I'm older than you. Let me take you down. Let me take you down my street.
Talk to me, man.
My street, don't go there. My street ain't about my peers. My street ain't about the fans. My street, to be honest with you, my street starts with God, the creator, and what he gave me and what I'm supposed to do with what the creator gave me. That's where mine starts from. You understand me? I ain't worried about what nobody else said. If I do what I'm supposed to do with what the creator gave me, everything else should fall in place. Now, is everybody going to be that way? No, because everybody ain't never liked nothing. You understand me? Everybody didn't like Jesus. Everybody ain't going to like nothing. But for the most of them, for the ones that listen and the ones that learn and the ones that take the example and the ones that really see the examples, those gonna appreciate God's work because they can see God's work through you and me. You understand me? So I'm not concerned about what everybody think. I'm concerned only about what God says. Because if God gave it to me and I don't use it to the max of my ability, then I've let God down. Or I'm not showing that I'm appreciative of what God gave me, which is why I'm so big on challenges, which is why I'm so big on diversity, which is why I'm so big on perseverance. You got to persevere through the hard times to get to the good times if you believe in what God gave you. If you don't believe in that, then you're going to find other ways to manipulate the system and do things differently. And that's why some athletes that people look upon and say that's their favorite athlete, I can understand why he's your favorite athlete, and I'm cool with that. That's nothing to do with me. He'll never be my favorite athlete, but that's just my opinion. You understand me? So it's like the ones that I love, the ones I believe in, the ones that I revere in this game, are ones that I see with that mindset. Now, to take you one step further, I tell you this because I say this inside of my own household. Because of what I did, there's a lot of fighters that fought. A lot of fighters that fought. And there's a lot of fighters that still try to do and emulate what I did. But two of the last two that I really, really mess with and would die still messing with because they came after me, but they carried my mentality with them, was Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford. You understand me? And not even Usyk, because they thrive to be the best. They ain't worried about what's there. They just want to be the best. They know what's there going to come if they get to be that. But them three want to be, and it's a few more, but them three for sure wanted to be the best. I know who they watched growing up because they think like they got dope. You understand me? That's what I look for. But that's why I think God would have wanted me to put out there and show those that were watching me. You understand me? And so that's what I did.
Yeah. And I understand it and I respect it. And we also got to touch on who certain guys came up under. So to your point about Gervonta Davis and others, right? Like certain guys came up under certain people. So this is my primary influence right here.
Yep.
I want to be like him.
Yep.
And me and you debate about this, but I respect the Pretty Boy Floyd era, and I respect the Money May era, even, even Floyd facing a Maidana,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like Maidana's not an all-time great, but for a dude that's 35, 36, fighting that dude twice, that's a very solid pick. That's a very solid pick when you could have picked somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that, just to be clear, I don't think that fighters, right? I don't care how old school your mentality is, I don't think it's smart to face another dog, another killer for every fight out. You gotta have a number one contender in there, a B-level guy in there. Oh, this is straight tune-up right here. No, let me go back to another hitter. This next fight, 3 fights that I don't subscribe to that, because we got to think long term. Like, you don't have to prove, you got to prove every fight that you still the guy. But I think that every now and again, you need to be facing somebody that got a real threat to beat you.
Well, the problem with that is what you just said. I agree with you. You shouldn't fight a tough fight every fight. But what happens?
It sounds like you agreeing with me and disagreeing with me. So which one is it?
I'm agreeing and disagreeing. Because you shouldn't fight a tough fight.
Come on, man.
You shouldn't fight a tough fight every fight. But you see how Canelo had 2 or 3 tomato cans these last 2 or 3 fights before he fought Bud Crawford? Well, that hurt him in the long run because you fought these tomato cans and they gave you a false sense of security as to how good you were. And so when you go in there against somebody who is good again, it made it a little bit more difficult because you haven't seen this in so long. So had you fought somebody who was capable of being that kind of guy, that would have gave you an idea what you was going to see when you saw Bud. But you didn't, because, like you say, we all want to take a few easy fights between. We can, but not too many. Because if you take too many, it's going to pull you out the game, and you're going to not be used to facing that no more. So now when you face it again, it becomes a culture shock. You understand me? So yeah, I ain't saying fight a killer every time out, but you can't space them too far in between. You can't fight 3, 4, 5 bums or 3 or 4, 5 okay guys, then go fight a good guy because you're going to be confused. You ain't seen this in 3 years because you ain't fought it in 3 years. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
The Berlingas of the world don't bring what Crawford brings. The guy he fought from Cuba, they don't bring what Crawford brings. So you're not going to see none of what you're going to see when you fight Crawford in your last 3 fights. Now, after them 3 fights, Chuck, you had 3 good fights. You made decent money. Yeah, they was easy fights, but it didn't teach you nothing. It didn't do nothing to prepare you for what you thought you want to go out there and face. You understand me? That's why I don't agree with it totally.
For sure.
So I agree with one here and there, yes. But you gotta, if you're gonna compete, you gotta stay at a competing mindset. Only way you're gonna stay at a competing mindset is if you're challenging yourself to compete. Once you stop doing that, you're gonna lose that mindset. You're gonna lose that confidence. You're gonna lose everything that goes with that. So you can't do it no more.
I agree. There was too much of the hand picking the fighters, and then you're also in control of everything because you're the cash cow. So these guys are coming into the event wide-eyed, and most of them just don't have the mentality. Most of them got solid skill. Most of them are champions, but they just don't believe that they can win the fight. So you see them accept whatever Canelo puts across. So I knew that wasn't going to happen with Crawford. It's just a whole different mindset, bro. And to your point, if you haven't faced that in 4 or 5, 6 years or something like that, it will give you a false sense of yourself. And sparring don't really count. It can help, but it don't really count when you start talking about, because he got great sparring for this fight, Canelo, but it didn't translate in that ring because he was fighting a different type of dude.
Don't translate in that ring anyway, because when you spar, it ain't 50,000 there watching you spar. And we talked about that on the other show. When you got out there in front of 50,000+ people, that's taking something away from you too. You understand me? So you don't get to feel like you feel in sparring because you're not comfortable. Because of them 50,000, somebody gonna see everything that may be wrong with you. If you got a chipped tooth, somebody gonna see that. If you spit your mouthpiece out, somebody gonna see that. If you got a gray hair in a place that ain't supposed to be, somebody gonna see that. Because all eyes are on you. So it's different when you're out there with that crowd than it is when you're in that gym.
Straight up. I respect it. But I want to be clear. If guys can go get the money and got enough of a fan base, and they can captivate the mind of the people enough to do numbers, go get your money. Go get your money. They ain't breaking no laws. They ain't hurting nobody. Like, this is their business. This is their life. This is their career. And if you don't like it, don't engage. But the problem is everybody saying they I can't believe this. How's Jake doing this? But y'all keep engaging. You engage on social. Them analytics are measured and they know we got some action. Y'all are tuning into Netflix or pay-per-view. They're selling out arenas doing this. If you really don't like, I don't think people really dislike it as much as they say they do, because the numbers don't lie and the numbers are screaming. It's a whole lot of people that like this and want to see it.
People are followers. If you give them something and everybody say they're gonna look at it, then they're gonna go look at they're gonna go look at it too. You understand me? So it's like you say what you want, but there's been several situations where people knew wasn't nothing exciting gonna happen inside the ring, but they all still went and paid and watched anyway. They do it over and over and over again. The only reason I didn't really do it that way is because I wanted to give you something to remember every time I was in the ring. But there's so many guys that guys know ain't nothing gonna happen at all. Ain't nothing bad, nothing shocking is gonna occur. And they still pay to watch it because of the build-up, because of the hype, because they know everybody else is watching. So they don't want to be one of the ones that said they missed it. They want to be able, when the conversation happens about it, they want to be in the middle of that conversation. Yeah, I saw it too.
Yes.
And that's what the problem is with the world today. Everybody want to be in that I saw it too. I don't care to see it myself. So,
well, man, you was on point this morning. I appreciate how you broke this down for me. You know, I was trying to pick a fight this morning.
I know it,
but you threw some cold water on me, man. And from the very start, you explained yourself very, very well and very concise, very to the point, very, very much to the point. And I understand your point in terms of the imagination. If I can't imagine this fight being a real fight, even if they pass their prime, it's hard for me to get on board. We're going to always keep the conversation going. We're going to be real. We're going to be straight to it. And you got two of the best talking about it, man. You always going to have a Hall of Fame worth the game when you come on this show, man. I appreciate you, brother. And till next time, we'll see you.
Thank you, Drake. Good to hear from you, brother.